Hey guys, back out here in the garage. Today I want to give you guys an update because I am super excited. I got reason to celebrate. I'm back out of here because I have a whole new renewed interest in the bad Hombre. If you can't tell, that's a license plate on it. That's right. Man, I'm so stoked. Yesterday, one of the most exciting trips to the DMV I've had in a long time. I went down there and got my title registration and a temp plate, only because my collector's plates are in the mail or being made or whatever, and they'll be here eventually. So that's super exciting news. The bad news is it's like 7 degrees outside right now, so I can't go drive. But when I came home yesterday and the kids got done with school, I loaded them up and said, we're going for a ride anyway. We're gonna go put gas in this thing. So despite the fact that it was only 30 degrees, we loaded up and we hauled down there like a bunch of crazies. No windows in the car or anything. And got some gas in it, but we had a great time. I'll cut to some video of that ride right now. I've been waiting a long time for this. Kids in here, let's go for a ride. You guys ready? Alright, so you guys see, we just had a good time. I mean, my kids love it. I love it too. I couldn't get my wife to go on the ride. And I don't blame her. We were frozen when we got back. But now that I have a title for the car, license plates, and we're able to drive it whenever we want, I'm stoked to get this thing finished up. So what I want to do today is I want to walk you guys through a little list of the stuff that I've come up with that the car needs to get done in order to make it, well, I mean, it's roadworthy, but in order to make it a little more comfortable when I'm cruising. So follow along. I'm going to walk you through the infamous cardboard list. All right, a whole bunch of you do this. I know you do, and you've seen me do it on the channel before, and I've been putting it off for a long time. In fact, let me be honest with you for a second. I didn't do it because it would be too daunting at first. You know, I didn't make the cardboard list for a long time because there was so much to do. I just had to keep plugging away at it. And then a couple of months ago, man, I started getting really down and depressed about the car because I was just not having any success with this license plate and my title issue. And a short story on that one, I'll just share with you guys. Last year, it was a year ago, I went ahead and I was a sucker for one of those companies that advertises that says, hey, if you don't have a title, don't worry, we'll do it for you. You know, for a small fee. And it wasn't that small, but I thought it would be worth my time and effort for them to just to pay them to have them do it. But you pay them, and they do all the legwork for you. And any of you guys, if you've tried to get a title in Colorado, you know that it's pretty challenging. Now, we know after the fact that after I paid that company and let them run for a while, I had to get a title for my Jeep. That's another long story. In fact, I'll put a link up to the video I made on how that whole process went. But I learned the process on how to get a title for a vehicle in Colorado. Well, it turns out that company I hired was full of promises and delivered nothing. They were great at taking my money, and then they gave me nothing. 6-8 months went by, and it was nothing but broken and empty promises about how stuff was in the mail. And finally when I got into it, they hadn't done anything. They'd done nothing. So I just said, send me what you got, I'm done with you guys, and moved on. And so that's what I did. Starting right before Christmas, I got my paperwork. Got it all together. Spent more money because I had to get I had to get an appraisal and a bond and all that stuff for a vehicle with no title in Colorado. But I got it all turned in, and they were actually pretty quick, and they were very helpful with the DMV, and I got it done. So there you go. There's the background on it. But during that time, I was so down. Honestly, I just didn't even want to work on the car. And that's fine, because in that process, we got a couple other projects done. You know, we got my kids, their go-kart done. You know, and that was all right. We had a good time. I did a lot of projects on my Jeep, and that was fun. But you know, I'm ready to get back on this car and get it going. So let's follow along. Let me walk you through the old cardboard list. Let's see what we got going on. Okay, so I sat down, and in about a matter of a minute, I just wrote down the things that I knew I needed to get done on the car. So first thing, insulation. My dad was gracious enough to give me a couple of rolls of some different types of automotive insulation. That's it over against the wall. And I'm not too stoked about like trying to make this car warm, you know, or retain heat or anything, but I need to put something inside, like my doors and panels and everything. So here's why. When you're inside the car, and that's me knocking on that, everything echoes. It's like you're riding in a tin can in there. So I really want to come in and inside some of these big panels, put some of that insulation just to keep the noise down and deaden it a little bit. The next thing I want to do, I got to get my rear window in the car. Yeah, there's no rear window. I don't have glass for that. I think it's up there. I have a piece of plexiglass that's fit pretty close to fit in there, and so I'll put that in. But I got to do a couple of these other things first here. Another thing I want to get done on the car here are my door handles, right? I have the handles for this car, and you probably have seen in earlier videos them just hanging down because they're not attached to anything inside there. And if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link up to the video of my bear claw latch that I put on the inside of the car, which works awesome. I mean, these things rip. They work really well. But now I got to come in here and I've got to adapt and connect my outside door handle to the bear claw latch. The challenge with these old cars like this is the window channel goes right up against the back of the door, so you can't go behind the window channel with the door post. You know, when I come in through this way, you can see, well, maybe you can see there, it gets right into the window, so I can't just go straight through. Instead, I'm going to have to do the old bell crank. It's going to come in, and I'm going to have a lever mechanism come down to here somewhere and mount, and then come back up on this side of the window channel and come in behind here and operate the door handle. So to put my door handles on, I'll have to, anyway, bunch of fabricating. I need to do door handles. Window mechanisms, yeah, that's right, I don't have any window mechanisms in the car. All four windows should roll down, but I don't have any window glass, obviously, or mechanisms. So I need to track those down so that I can get those and the next one glass. I'd love to have glass in all four of these windows. So, you know, these roll down, these roll down. That's going to take some time. Carpet. Again, I'm not trying to win any competitions with this car, and nor does it even really deserve like good carpet. But I do have a roll of some of that indoor-outdoor carpeting, that gray stuff up there, that I've held on to for a long time. That I think if I came in here and I pulled my seats out and put some of that insulation down under, and then put the carpet on, it would make it more comfortable in here, make the noise a lot different. So carpet. Let's see here, shifter boot and a brake pedal boot. I got to get those built and put in. Actually, I build one for my brake pedal because there's the hole where the pedal comes through, and a lot of hot air is going to seep in. And then my shifter, I never did put the boot on that thing, and I have one. I just gotta put it on. Rear end lube. Okay, so the rear axle on this, I've checked it. It has enough oil in it, but I don't know how old it is. It's been around forever. And if I'm going to drive this thing very far, I'll be more comfortable if I've actually been in there and made sure it has the right amount and the right kind of fresh lube in there. So that involves me coming in, because there's no drain plug on this thing. That's going to involve me popping the axles out both sides, dropping the third member, draining it all out, cleaning it out, and then refilling it. But that'll give me a good chance to look at that third member and make sure it's good. I've toyed with the idea here's my dilemma with the rear end. This Ford 9-inch has 28 spline axles, and it has an open diff. I want to get a posi, but it has an open diff with 325 gears. The 325 gears are actually really nice for cruising this thing, you know, at a decent RPM. But I have a diff for a 9-inch, but it's 31 spline axles with a spool with 411 gears, and this thing would be way more fun to drive with 411 gears and a spool, make better burnouts, all that important stuff, you know. But it's 31 spline, and so I'm trying to debate what's better: buy a carrier to put a posi in these gears and redo that, or just buy a set of axles that are 31 spline and then plug them in here with that 411 gear set in there. I don't know. We'll see. That's something I need to look at. In the short term, before I get too far, I need to lube that rear end. Okay, the other thing is, you guys, I made a video, again, I'll put a link up there to the video of my license plate mount. It was a pretty simple affair, and I really like how it hides down there. I really like where it is, but I realized with this template, it's just kind of flopping here. You know, my mount only comes down to here, so I kind of want to just put a piece of sheet metal that bolts on behind, so this thing doesn't end up tearing itself off and I lose it. And yeah, I don't want to go back to the DMV to try to get another one. Oh, now I don't know if you guys caught this either. It says it's a coupe. This is clearly not a coupe. I wasn't going to make any stink about it when I saw that. I'm not going to ask questions. Okay, let's keep going. Front license plate mount. Oh. Colorado's a two-plate state, no matter how nice you ask. So I've got to figure out how I'm going to put a license plate on the front of this thing. I don't want to. I never planned to. I don't like it. It's probably, honestly, going to end out getting put on the inside of this and just kind of bolted in on behind the screen there. And I'm going to see if I can get away with that. If not, I'm going to have to build myself something that, I don't know, hangs off over here or something and puts my license plate. I don't know. I'll fight that battle. I tried to when I got the title yesterday, but honestly, I didn't want to make a stink. I just couldn't hardly believe I was going to walk out of there with the title in my hand. So, okay. Front license plate mount. Fan shroud. We'll come back to the fan shroud. I need to do some paint stuff here, okay? Remove the paint. If you guys look here, I've done a lot of good work on getting the big stuff off, but like all around here, I've got a lot of this in the little nooks and crannies, and then right along all the edge pieces here and around my gas cap. It's mainly in the rear, but there's some other places like on the doors where they were all primed and painted, and I stripped it off. I got primer down in the corners and stuff here that I need to get done. So I need to finish coming in and stripping that off, figuring that out, and trying to kind of polish this where it's streaked, where I polish it and streaked and everything. I want to just kind of make it even and a little more uniform. Now, some of the stuff I won't get off, like the pits, the other side's are worse, but there's pitting up on these places that I just won't get all the paint out of there, and that's fine. And while I'm at it, I can't stand that brown. The old brown primer or trim clad, whatever it's called. It's got to go. And so that's going to involve me probably when I do my interior stuff, taking the seats out, coming in and just spray bombing all this stuff on the interior that's brown. Let's try to make it black, you know? Maybe it's me just trying to finish making this car mine because it had the brown on there when I got it. So we'll work on that. That'll come up with the interior stuff. A couple other things I need to do on the inside of the car. I want to do some door panels. You know, once I kind of get my insulation in and my door mechanism stuff figured out, I want to go ahead and build some door panels. It'd be nice if I could get some aluminum, or if not some sheet metal or something, and just, you know, maybe use the bead roller and put some pattern in there or something, but just some nice door panels on there to, you know, kind of gussy it up a little bit. And maybe I'll get a little crazy while I'm at it and, you know, put some panels that extend that down to the bottom and there in the kick panels on the sides, you know, and hide that. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time. A few other things here. Oh, while I'm at it, I've realized that I've got different length bolts here for my where I bolted the wood bows in. And so I just need to come in and I need to trim those off and hit them with a flat wheel and make sure that a kid's not going to rip their skull on that when they're climbing in and out of the car. Because as I realized yesterday when I said to load up, my son likes to climb on the tire, through the window, and into the back seat. So we'll work on that. Okay, a couple other things I need to do up front. I said I'd come back to my fan shroud. I don't think this thing's going to have issues. I need to knock on wood, but I don't know if it's going to run hot or not. But what I've found with my cars is I end up fighting the temp until I put a shroud on it. So I'm probably going to have to build a sheet metal, just something simple that, you know, goes up to the top and comes down. The issue with this car, which makes it a little more challenging, is my fan goes down to there, but my radiator only goes down to there. So I'm gonna have to get creative and figure out how that radiator's gonna, how the shroud's gonna cover the radiator. But I already have a chunk of sheet metal over there. It's been waiting for months and months for me to build a fan shroud. Okay, finally, the last couple things. On the ride yesterday, we noticed it's got a stumble off idle. If I'm just coming off idle and I get into the throttle, it wants to stutter. So the carbs need a little more tuning. We'll get to that. It's not too bad, but it's annoying. So I'm going to work on that. And then I've never changed the oil in it since I broke it in, and you know, the little bit of running I've done with it since then. Haven't changed the oil. So I just ordered some good high zinc hot rod motor oil that I will go ahead and throw in there. Okay, did I skip front shocks? I know I skipped front shocks. So, yeah, one of the things I skipped is front shocks. Let me take this up here. I'll show you what's going on. There's great debate as to whether my shocks will bottom out, but the fact is they're pretty close. When I ordered these, I had two options. I had shocks that were too long, and then I had shocks that were too short. And so I opted for the ones that were too long but might fit. This one's a little better. It's a little more compressed over this side. But you can see there's just not a lot of compression there left, and I don't want my shocks bottoming out. So I was looking around for some good deals on the old Craigslist, and I ran into these guys. A set of Speedway chrome, like T-bucket shocks. I mean, these things are sweet, brand new, never used, right? But when I got them home and measured them, let me see here. There we go. Okay, when I got them home and measured them and compared them, that's maximum extension. So these are the size that are too short. So now I have the shocks that I think are too long on the car, and a set of shocks that I think are going to be too short. But what I could do is come in here and maybe adjust the mounting point if I wanted them to work. So that's what I'm considering is, you know, maybe I'll be able to move this mounting point down a little bit here. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Or I'll just get a couple of kids to jump up and down on the front with me and see if they bottom out. I don't know. If not, these things will get sold because I bet I can make more money on them. That was a really good deal, 30 bucks for the pair. Okay, so that's my list. That's the old cardboard keep track of what needs to get done list. I'm sure I missed a bunch, and there's a reason I left space at the bottom, because as you start doing these things, more projects tend to show up. So there you go. There's the update on the Bad Hombre. Man, I'm super excited to get this out on the road. Unfortunately, we are in the dead of winter, and it is cold outside. It's literally, I think it's like 7 degrees outside today. So I'm thankful for my heater in the garage, and yeah, we'll get it. We'll plug away at it and have it ready before it's springtime and the weather gets nice. So. All right, if I missed something, drop me a comment down below. I appreciate all the followers that I have out there and the subscribers that have been supporting the channel by watching my videos. I love your inputs. I love the community we have here. Share your ideas with me. What am I missing? What am I crazy about on this thing? Tell me how your project's going too. All right, guys. Catch you on the next one.